out here, and that would have been very helpful for us. I have two comments on your questions that you intend to poll the PAC members on. And first, question number 2 about the use of the current version of the evaluation criteria. Those criteria need to be quantifiable. We need some numbers attached. This is a pilot project. We need to know success or failure when the pilot ends, and those can't be just guesses. There has to be some line, a threshold out there that can be identified. With regard to the current physical design of the trail, I guess I'm curious what kinds of design refinements might be contemplated during the implementation phase. Are we just talking about little tweaks, or are we talking about the adding of a cross trail or more? There's 3 studies underway now in the city that need to work to completion before this project can be wrapped up. The Parks Department has begun a project to develop values-based guidelines for the appropriate uses of Seattle greenbelts and natural areas. They're having a mini summit on April 4th, and that work, their work in developing those guidelines will continue through June. Second, DPD is updating the environmental critical areas ordinance. That obviously affects what we're doing here in Cheesty because it is designed to protect wetlands and landslide-prone areas, both of which we have to deal with. That project has an open house on February 25th, and they're working towards a June 30th deadline. And lastly, the Seattle Comprehensive Plan, DPD is updating that. That has a natural environment component that could very well be changed and updated in ways that would affect this project. Okay, this project is not going to end with
Quickly, Roger,
this
time's
meeting.
up. Thank you. Josh Miller?
Hello, my name is Josh Miller. I'm wearing 2 hats this evening. I work at Cascade Bicycle Club, and I'm also a local resident. I live in Dutton Park. And first off, I would say I've been a little bit remiss in my involvement in the project, and will make a commitment to volunteering going forward, and also possibly a commitment of some of my work time. I'll elaborate in a moment. I'm glad to see the improvements in the design and how responsive the process has been to the walk and so on. I think my main point is about the location as a focus point for education and encouragement programs, and there are good opportunities for activities for youth that are appealing to lots of different ages, and those involve active recreation and connection with nature. There are great opportunities for civic engagement for youth as well, and opportunities for ecological stewardship and education for youth, leadership development. And again, the design of this, I think, is good to see so much separation of the walking and biking trails. I've worked on trail crews and built walking and biking trails and maintained them, and they demand different things. I'm also glad to hear that this is not a final alignment, that it would be responsive to local conditions. You really don't know what you're doing until you build it. So I'm encouraged to hear those things, and I think that's about all I have. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Steve Mallett?
My name is Steve Mallett. I work at Bikeworks here in Columbia City. Thanks a lot for the opportunity to speak. I want to ask the PAC to move forward with this pilot project. At Bikeworks, there's a lot of excitement around this project. The work we do is similar to the work being done at Cascade Bicycle Club by others in the city to make bicycles and bicycling more accessible to people, especially people in South Seattle. So we feel this project really builds on that work. there's a lot of potential to make bikes accessible to South Seattle and give people in South Seattle an outdoor area to use. So thank you.
Thanks. Greg Briggs, and then Scott Amick, and then Morgan Howland.
Hi, my name is Greg Briggs. I live right along the edge of the East Loop. And let's see, I noticed on my phone. So the first thing I wanted to do is really thank the Parks Department. I see they put a whole ton of effort into balancing the concerns of this project. A lot of changes have been made, and I kind of feel they're fair. Personally, I was hoping for more cross trails. Since I live nearby and look forward to my kids enjoying the trails. And I would have liked a lot more, but I'm pretty happy with the updated design. So I just wanted to communicate that. The other thing that I wanted to mention, the 72-hour requirement is a little bit tough. I have volunteered at GC a few times, but really, I have a job during the week. I think if that requirement was changed to be the nearest weekend or something, that would be a lot more reasonable. The other thing, I've noticed a number of costs have come up. I would encourage us to see when can we use volunteers to actually do something instead of paying someone to do it. I'm not sure what attorneys might do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott?
My name is Scott Aber, and I just wanted to continue to show my support for the project and thank the DHG group. I really appreciated the work that you put into this, and I think that the plan is improved in many ways. Not perfect, but I think it represents a good compromise from what I can tell. My main comment would be on the evaluation criteria. I just wanted to acknowledge and maybe have the evaluation criteria slightly edited on the invasives and the rate of new plantings and the habitat disturbances to at least acknowledge that for myself, I was almost a year ago volunteering in this space, helping to clean it up. So I feel like it's important to acknowledge that there's been almost a year of work to date that would be before, would be prior to the beginning of trail construction. And I just think that would be a relevant thing to at least acknowledge in the work that this group and the Parks Department's doing, and the work logs from the GSP should be able to be used to document the condition of the space about a year ago. So thank you for your work.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Morgan Howland, Alex Clay, Joel DeJong, and Jay Garrison. Morgan?
Hi there, my name's Morgan Hoper. I'm Beacon Hill, I live up on Beacon Hill South, right by Jefferson Park. My 7-year-old son Solomon and I have been volunteering with the Cheese City Forest renovation over the past year. And we're really looking forward to the possibility of having these trails, both pedestrian and mountain biking here. It's been a really important thing to me to introduce the ecology to my son. It's been important to show civic involvement and just how through all the hard work all you are doing and what we're doing with the volunteering, how that can make a difference in our community, connecting the communities that are near Vista and with the Kimball community that my son attends as a student, and getting those neighbors reconnected. It'd be nice to be able to see a little bit more connection pedestrian-wise through there. Another topic, we primarily when we mountain bike, we ride out at Doopy. This past weekend we went to Swan Creek and tried that out for the first time. And it's been pretty amazing. There's been some comments with wildlife and disturbing wildlife, and we found that in our visits that the adaptability of the animals has been pretty amazing. We saw deer out at Doopy the last time we were out, and there's been a few people at the trail, and they just they realize that we're predictable, we're on a trail, it's low impact, it's quiet. So I see this type of trail as being working well with the existing wildlife and the urban adaptability. Thanks a lot for your time.
Alex?
Hi, I'll be very brief. As a community member and a parent and a bicyclist, I'm strongly in favor of an increase of trails in the neighborhood, and I strongly encourage going forward with this project. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Joel?
Hi, first and foremost, I just want to thank everybody for all their input and hard work into this, and everybody to volunteer around the PAT table, and except for those on the end. But this whole thing started out as a community project, and it really, for me, is about that community engagement and the relationships that become formed through the work and through the process of working side by side together in the woods. So. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Parks, for working on this. Margaret, I know you're in a tough seat there, and just thanks. I don't know if we're going to see you after this, so thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I think the design is coming along. I appreciate all the changes. I appreciate being out on the walk the other day and getting in the interior and really seeing the opportunity for engaging the space a lot more. The proposal for bikes, we've been in restoration since 2007, but when we proposed the bike idea, it was really to get the youth engaged and get the kids involved. And one thing that I don't see here is really a trail that's focused on a specific user type that's going to engage kids. So hopefully we can work with the Parks Department on user-specific criteria for the trail that we're actually building. And I just want to close with just noting that it was pretty cool to see Obama. He launched an Every Kid in a Park initiative today. So that whole program is about getting every 9-year-old in the country out into a national park. And I think really that's kind of in line with what we're trying to do as well. And it says, social research suggests that exposing children to nature when they're roughly 9 years old establishes a connection to the environment that lasts through adulthood. Thank you.
Thank you. Jay, then Rosie Sell, then Bob Darning.
Hi, Ben. I'm going to speak to something that I hadn't planned on speaking today, and this is what I was planning on saying. Instead, I sit here stunned today. This project feels so much like a microcosmos of the worldwide debate on climate change. There are those that believe the results of empirical research and analysis, and those that do not. I thought the debate about this project was whether bicycles would harm the environment and whether there was sufficient support for the project in the community. The existing literature review on the ecological impacts of mountain biking by the Mystikas Institute, commissioned by the Parks Canada, shows that bike trails have no more impact than pedestrian trails. The geotechnical engineer has analyzed the park and found that properly designed trails could actually improve slope stability. The environmental analyst has analyzed the park and has found that the animals in the green space will do fine despite the trails. Yet, just like the debate on climate change, there are people who refuse to acknowledge the validity of science. However, it is clear that that is not due to a dislike of the project or of the science, but it instead is based on recent comments that we have endured. It is due to a dislike of those who are acting as transformation agents to increase the availability of equitable access to nature in the Rainier Valley. This project makes that change. Friends of Cheesty Green Space Mountain View is the agent of that change. Sadly, some people have let their concerns about this project become personal, which leaves us only one way to heal as we go forward. We cannot be dissuaded back from this project by hurtful comments or bullying. To make this valley a better place for our children and ourselves and our neighbors, we must take the opportunity to create a positive, enriching environment that allows for a variety of access modes and engages us to create a better tomorrow. Please come and join us this weekend to help restore, reclaim, reimagine, and reconnect with Cheesty Green Space, Saturday, 9 a.m. at our monthly work party. Thank you.
Rosie Sell, then Bob.